Democratic Congressman Jim McGovern gave Marjorie Taylor Greene and MAGA Republicans a piece of his mind on the House floor. Well, I hate to hit you with a story that relates to Marjorie Greene so quickly after our last one, but this moment, it's too good to pass up on. The context is extreme MAGA Republicans' latest waste of everyone's time is censuring Democratic Congressman Bowman for pulling the fire alarm. A little while ago, he said it was an accident, but he did pay a fine, pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor. Got it figured out, okay? It's been sorted out. Not according to people like Marjorie Greene. She is still very upset with Bowman for pulling that fire alarm. So she and her fellow MAGA Republicans are trying to get Bowman censured, which actually it ended up happening just as I was sitting down to record this. He got censured, which of course is a formal condemnation and sort of a public humiliation of a member of Congress. And it's supposed to be serious, but lately Marjorie has been trying to censure and impeach everybody that she doesn't like, which is sort of cheapening those things for sure. With that being said, I will note some Democrats voted for this resolution. I saw again as I was sitting down to record this segment. Very interesting. But here is Marjorie Taylor Greene first voicing her support for the resolution, then Democratic Congressman Jim McGovern getting a chance to respond and express his thoughts about Marjorie Greene.
Mr. Speaker, I urge all of my colleagues to vote for this censure resolution. I thank Representative McClain for introducing it, and at this time I yield back. Thank you.
Gentlelady yields back. A gentlelady from Michigan reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, it's really rich to get a lecture from someone about civility who stood on this House floor and screamed and interrupted the President of the United States during his State of the Union. Or somebody who continues to circle the wagons and cheer on the insurrectionists who attacked this Capitol violently on January 6th. I was the last person off the House floor on that day, and I saw what happened. And for people to come down here and defend those actions, it is pathetic and disgusting.
Pathetic and disgusting, indeed. Now, he has more to say. I'll play that clip in just a moment, but first, to respond to that part, it was perfect for him to bring up the hypocrisy of Marjorie Greene condemning someone else's lack of civility. Civility and Marjorie don't go together, as I'm sure you're aware. She very prominently, as an example of this, did this up next to me at Biden's State of the Union.
Vote. Well, I'm glad to see.
Liar. And I'll also put up next to me footage from January 6th to bolster McGovern's second point. Marjorie Greene acts like she's so horrified and concerned about Bowman pulling a fire alarm when there wasn't an emergency, something that he should have been and was held accountable for. Even though I did look at the footage on the bonus show multiple times, it looks like he was sort of panicking, trying to get out of these doors, and it didn't work, and then pulled the alarm, so it could have been an accident. But regardless, it's rich that she'll be fed up with that, but then spend years lying about and downplaying what's going on next to me being January 6th. Here's more from Jim McGovern.
Our gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, this is a profoundly stupid resolution. Under Republican control, this chamber has become a place where trivial issues get debated passionately and important ones not at all. Republicans have focused more on censuring people in this Congress than passing bills that help people we represent or improving this country in any way. What a waste of time and money. They have turned this place into a joke. They came into the majority talking a big game, but have delivered nothing, not a single damn thing. They talk about passing this and passing that. All their hyper-partisan bills are going nowhere. What we're now doing is distracting from the fact that the Republican agenda has been a total and complete failure. The least productive Congress in history, the most rules failed in a single year. They dragged America to the brink of default twice, almost shut down the government, wasted weeks fighting about who should be Speaker, hitting each other in the hallways, and it's all because we should be talking about important issues in this chamber, Mr. Speaker. We should be addressing health care costs, helping Americans build economic security, competing with our adversaries abroad, and investing in our people at home. We just had a shooting in Las Vegas tonight. We should be talking about preventing gun violence in this country. And you have us here talking about how someone tried to go out the wrong door of the Cannon House office building. I mean, honestly, what the hell is wrong with you? Congressman Bowman, apologize.
So on the nose, as I've said before, just compare the records. When Democrats had a majority in the House, what did they get done? The American Rescue Plan helped to pull us out of the pandemic crisis and created millions of jobs. The infrastructure law, historic investments in infrastructure. The Inflation Reduction Act, historic investments in green energy while lowering prescription drug costs, and so much more in the Inflation Reduction Act. The PACT Act, expanding veterans' health care coverage. The CHIPS and Science Act, investing in American manufacturing. The Respect for Marriage Act, protecting marriage equality. And I could go on and on and on, all in 2 years. Real solutions being implemented to problems Americans are facing. And then take that, contrast it with the Republican House majority since they came into power. A bunch of investigations into Joe Biden that have yielded nothing meaningful. Wasted time, wasted resources, wasted governance. And if you think that I'm just a biased lib, here is a Republican Congressman, Chip Roy, saying the same thing.
One thing. I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, one, that I can go campaign on and say we did. One. Anybody sitting in the complex, if you want to come down to the floor and come explain to me one material, meaningful, significant thing the Republican majority has done besides, well, I guess it's not as bad as the Democrats.
And that's it. It's not a serious governing party. MAGA has taken complete control and has created a situation where there's just no hope for real progress to be made when the GOP is governing. And as I've said so many times, the way that we get back to more meaningful and impactful policy conversations is to vote out extreme MAGA Republicans. And actually, it's more than that. I know some centrists like to believe that there are still Republicans that it would be justified to vote for, but as long as the Republican Party is controlled and defined by MAGA, Republicans have to lose across the board. That's the only way to force MAGA into political irrelevance, is to show the entire Republican Party that there's no hope of winning as long as they allow that in their party. The message has to be resounding and unequivocal. And really the only way to do that is to cause Republicans to lose elections at every level across the board. And to be clear, this is me speaking to sort of a centrist or a pro-democracy moderate Republican. Obviously, I'm in favor of more progressive policies, so I'd be voting against Republicans even in the absence of MAGA. But I'm saying even people who don't align with me on policy but want to get back to a more normal political debate, want to start making progress again on different issues and battling it out over the best solutions to problems, instead of having people just exclusively trying to exploit problems for political gain. If you care about democracy and aren't for Trump's attempts to block the peaceful transfer of power last time he was president and MAGA perpetuating the big lie, then a clear message has to be sent to the entire Republican Party. The GOP has to become no longer electorally viable until they divorce themselves from MAGA. Now, one other clip I want to show you from the debate over Bowman's censure resolution. Here is the leader of the Democrats in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, also dismantling MAGA Republicans.
Speaker, I rise today in strong opposition to this fake, fraudulent, and fictitious censure resolution. The proceedings here on the House of Representatives have been a complete and total embarrassment. Extreme MAGA Republicans have stooped to a new low, and that is very difficult based on the events that have taken place under this Republican majority throughout this year. Jamal Bowman has taken public responsibility for the fire alarm incident. He's apologized explained the circumstances under which it has occurred. He's been held publicly accountable by the D.C. Superior Court, paid a $1,000 fine, and the Ethics Committee, on a bipartisan basis, here in this Congress, made clear that no further action was required. The Ethics Committee, under a Republican chair. So why is the author of this resolution and the extreme MAGA Republicans on the floor of the House wasting time and taxpayer resources trying to undermine the credibility of Jamal Bowman, someone who is doing his best to serve his constituents?
And he's exactly spot on. I'll say again, you can have problems, of course, with Democrats, but please do a sober analysis of the 2 years they had the majority in the House, then compare that to the one-ish year Republicans have had a majority in the House. Actual meaningful policy conversations were being had when it was Democrats in charge. The drama, you might remember, was over whether or not certain Democrats would support policies that would impact millions of people. That should be what the drama is about. The drama wasn't over, a congresswoman showing revenge porn of the president's son on national television during a hearing. Marjorie. Before we go, don't forget to become a member at lukebeasley.com/membership to get access to a daily bonus show Monday through Friday exclusively for our members. Plus, follow me on Threads at Luke Beasley Official, Instagram at Luke Beasley Official, X at Luke B. Beasley, and sign up for the Beasley Brief, a daily morning newsletter that summarizes the previous day's events by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/brief, and I'll talk to you all next time.